Ooh, let's get ready to rumble, as they say in the UFC world, huh? Gosh, it's been a while since that first launched. Let me go ahead and switch over so you can see my lovely bearded face. I think what's good about having the beard is that it distracts people from talking about my beady eyes. So let's reduce the music here. Awesome. How's my focus? Probably not very focused. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Let's talk Tridactyls with your host, Mr. Ed. Trying to get this information out there and trying to stay sane. I can see it's probably how they push some people away. You know that? They just discourage people. I just hate how the internet and social media feels like some giant, I don't know, suggestion box, some giant customer service complaint sometimes. But it's not always bad. Just got a new video here. Let's see if we can share that. Let's see here. I'm like, I don't even know how to share anything at this moment. Isn't that funny? Look at this guy. Here, we'll put me down here too, so you can kind of see me. All right, so this was a fun show. Going through some of the comments now. I'm trying to answer these comments. Should I bother answering them? Should I ignore the negative ones completely? I feel like some of the negative ones I'd like to address, and maybe we can turn a negative into a positive. After all, it's a big suggestion box, isn't it, from customer service complaints. I feel like it's that in Reddit also. It's like Reddit is it's just like a bunch of customer service complaints. Okay, there's Jared. Jared, if you didn't get that head popped open, so I ended up sending Jared a head, and maybe because it's summertime and it was just a weak batch, I think his model came to him a little deflated. If you did not fix that, I will definitely be sending you another skull. And by the way, also Gears. I don't know if you sent your address to me, and even Wolf too. I'm not even sure where that went. I don't know if it was maybe you posted it in the chat from the social media. Let me go ahead and put I'll put my email up for everybody. It's ed@tridactyls.com. That's easy to remember. Yeah. Let's see. Got people contacting me, Cody, while I'm doing a show. He's texting me. So there's my email, ed@tridactyls.com. Also good for just if you want to ask questions that maybe I didn't answer, if you want to share something. I know with this fun topic, everybody wants to share their experiences and their theories and all of that. And I am definitely open to much of that. But, I'm focused on this theory, the constant companion theory, that the Tridactyls have been with us for a very long time. And there's clear evidence of that. We can start simply with associating the bodies with various archaeological petroglyphs around the world. By the way, I'm going to try not to talk about myself. Apparently, I'm a bit ego-centered, according to this some of the guests on this video here. But most of the comments were nice, to be honest. They were. I do like to sort of look at some of these comments, though. That could be fun. Oh, we got to go to the video, I guess. How do you do that? There you go. So what else is happening? I do want to look at the bodies of Louisa and Victoria again. That would be fun. So you can see this video here. It's already got what? Got a couple thousand likes, 30,000 views in 5 hours. This gentleman here, Ben Casper, has almost 1 million followers. He was very nice to work with. I hope, if I didn't answer some of his people's questions, I hope that maybe I can. I don't mean to do that ever. I like to talk. So if I ever gloss over something, it's probably because I can be all over the place. And I've tried on every interview to give my personal background, to let people know, why I am sort of invested in this. So yeah, Casper site, he was very nice. I hope to talk with him again sometime. Maybe there'll be some new discoveries. I had a fun cultural discovery this week I'd like to share with you. Let's see if we can find that on one of my just going to one of my channels might be the easiest way to do that. Feel free to drop me a line. I do like to share comments. So Jared's saying happy Sunday to us. That's nice. Again, he got his flat head. Oh man, I feel awful about that. And I thought I was gonna like making these things, but I'm really not like a model maker. And it does take a little bit of patience and a little bit of I don't know, a little touch that I don't have. So I did want to look at these again because we did find some great larval finds this week. We did have a fun cultural discovery this week. And here we go. Let's watch this here. All right. And I do like to make these little videos. I don't, sometimes it could just be a little bit of pareidolia, but this actually hits. Oops. Uh-oh. Oh, no. I did something bad. I accidentally closed my files by placing the silly video over the scan. So now all my scans that I set up, I'm gonna have to hunt them down again. So this is a fun little video. Watch this. Watch it again. So we got this knife dagger handle. We've got your Master of Beasts motif. Happens to be 2 large cats. Note 2, the cats are up near the head, up by the eyes. Now, isn't that fun? Now, is that really a little alien? I don't know, but it does seem to hit some things. I mean, there's the obviously the countenance, the benign look, the slanted eyes, heavy eyelids. Perhaps we see the temporal bones going back, and perhaps some artistic supraorbital arches, perhaps. I don't know. Let's take a look at the. So we decided to go back into Artemis's scans on the alien site.com. And I decided to go back in there because I started going into all of the beings actually, because I realized that, it's kind of hard to see things because of that CT animation that they do. They add that color effect, right? And so it was hard for me to pick out those larvae that are in there. So I decided to go back in, and don't you know, I found another great shot of the one. Yeah, I named it after myself because no one else was talking about it. So why not? And so I found the larva in Artemis again that I took the liberty of naming after myself. Why not? Yeah, so do I like to talk about myself? I don't know. I guess I just like to get credit where credit is due. And here we go. Let's take a look at this, shall we? Let me put my little camera on here. Oh, it's too small, too big. Oh, look at that. All right, we can play with this. Wow. Okay, so this is that original larva that I found in Artemis. And I feel like we're having a little bit of trouble seeing it. So let me play with the it's still not working here. Oh, I don't know what's going on. See, I always have some sort of technical difficulty. That works a little better. All right, check that out. So you're kind of getting the side view of the face there. What if I could make it smaller, if that would help? That does help. Okay, my dog wants to put his bone somewhere, so go get the bone, Bentley. All right, check that out. And so again, this is the same one, just from a different angle that we kind of took a peek at before. And here we made a little short video of some of these, let's say, some of these larval forms. This one's very hard to see. So they have almost a human-like face when you're looking at them dead on. I don't know why, maybe because it's flat or something. But this is one of them sucking on the ear bone within Louisa, which we're going to have to take another look at because we just closed all those files, huh? So I just made a short video of some of the most recent larval finds. This one came out not too long after I put forth my idea on the metamorphosis. Again, I don't know if all the researchers quite knew what they were looking at here, but I definitely see that tail that we depicted in our art showing these creatures. And awful, these are awful images, so hard to see here. I get it. And again, we can go through and look at them again, and maybe you know, we'll be able to sort of make sense of them. But this is a work in progress. Not everyone is going to see these things, but you can kind of get it right here. So recently, people were posting some South American artifacts that shows little heart face cordiform beings. I mean, this looks, it's, you know, actually it looks better. Let's see. Let me look at the screen. No, that looks awful on the restream. It looks good on my OBS, and it also looks not so good on my television. But again, these are scans, guys. They're just millimeters. You got to give people a break on this. I'm not trying to show you UFOs or Bigfoot hiding behind a tree. We are looking at scans, and we can look at them ourselves together shortly. So we're just going over some of the cultural stuff and some of the biological scans we have found recently, and it's fun. What else happened this week? There was a nice Spaces with not Dr. McDowell, the lawyer McDowell, and Gonzalo, and Psychoactiva gentleman who runs a video cast. So that was fun to have all of them on talking about McDowell's experiences with them and his belief in them being real, and what sort of legal things have to take place, and how he'd like to do the DNA again. So all those things are happening. You know, there's other videos out there too, if you haven't checked out. I did one with East 10 Productions with Cody. That's great. Another good interview. Hopefully I won't be saying the same things over and over again. I still have one big interview I'd like to do, or I'd like to at least recount my background. Because again, I do think it's important to understand that I'm not just some casual fly-by-night player who just decided to jump into this on a whim, right? Or that, you know, my theories are completely without any sort of academic bearing to them. Yeah. All right. So I do have to, let's go ahead and go back into those scans. We can sort of work out together here. Anybody wants to, everybody I know out there, if you guys would like to come on the show, that's fun too. I have had plenty of guests. I do like doing the interview thing. It's kind of something I like to do. I don't mind talking, but I also like to do the interview myself. I know it's important that we get all of this information out there. So usually what I do is I have to go to my Tridactyls file and open up my DICOM file, right? And then we kind of drag it in here, and we hope for the best. And we hope everything loads. So what else? What else? Am I missing any news? Looks like the Boogosphere, excuse me. Burger. I feel like maybe I want a burger. The Boogosphere looks like it came back with a dating. They did some CT dating on some adhesive. It came back over 12,000 years old. What? I mean, there are accounts of dragon spheres, dragon balls in ancient China. So it looks like we're starting off with Sebastian there, but we're actually gonna go into Josephina. We're looking for a couple, not Josephina. I wish Josephina had more. Or does she? No, this is not Josephine. We're in Louisa. That's where we're supposed to be. So we're looking at some scans from Louisa, and we're going to start with this one. I'm not going to open all of them like I usually do. We'll just start with one. So let me show you. Hold, please, hold. I used to say that a lot on this local radio station down here in South Florida. I don't know if anybody else would do that. Where they would, please hold. Okay. Yeah, maybe I don't see a lot of people in the chats. You guys second me? Everybody got their free head from me. That's right. Got their free head from me. And they have the YouTube videos. They don't have to interact with me live any longer, right? Okay. Can zoom out a little bit, I think. All right, so here again we have Louisa. And this is, I think, good to look at these constantly. That's how I'm able to see new things. If you're just casually looking at these, you go through it once and you're like, oh, nothing here. Nothing here, folks. Nothing to see. Then you might not see anything. I just used this recently also for a graphic. Oh, and I want to make sure that I don't screw up by. Let's put that graphic up because I did a pretty good job of. I just panicked and just made sure like I wasn't muted. Can you imagine if I just talked for like 15 minutes? And there's, oy. So I'm going to share it from where I am here. Very nice. So this is a groovy graphic I made recently using this, I think this exact same file. Oh boy, I got to get a new chair, huh? I am like squeaky like the Addams family here. I think that'll be on my list of things to do. You know, people are asking me if there are any peer review studies on this. No, but I'm trying. I'm trying to create a decent quality paper that will allow me to perhaps do just that, guys. So, yeah. So we did take the time to make this. And what do we see? So I wanted to cover a lot of the different aspects of the morphology, the parietal pineal gland and that kappa complex, the ear bone. And also, guys, while you're looking at this scan right now, you might see bodies in there. After all, it was this particular ear that I did capture what looks like tridactyl forms possibly on the head. So we could find it right in this picture that I'm just using just to demonstrate. Okay, so the rostrum is like a beak, like this beak structure has a sort of fang. We're not seeing it too good in that picture, but that's okay. Proto-canine notch, and I guess a lot of us should have known right away they had canines because that's what that notch was. We were looking at that. We weren't entirely sure. And, of course, the unique vertebrate parallels. Now, people are telling me, Ed, this can't be an invertebrate. It has vertebrae. I get it. But it also has this strange continuous axial duct from the skull to the cloaca. Of course, a lot of people are interested in the metal implants. It's a nice parallel to something like a UFO, right? It's some sort of technology that you can touch and feel. There are metallurgy tests on that. I was told by the paleontologist, the anonymous paleontologist in training on Reddit, that, and I have to emphasize he's anomalous because I'm putting myself out here and risking myself in different ways. And he just gets to hide behind this anonymous cloud. But he says these can't be Gastralia. They're probably something more cartilaginous. Cartilaginous, is that right? Made of cartilage. And that's fine. That's kind of similar. I feel sometimes he might be mincing words a little bit. For example, he's saying that it's not a furcula. It's not even an interclavicle. He's just calling it, I think, a fused clavicle. That works for me too. I'll do some more research into that. And if a fused clavicle works better, then I'll use that. But keep in mind, these terms I'm already using from a published paleontologist. So I don't think this anonymous gentleman, I don't think he's published. So why not go with the reports that are from a published paleontologist that I see as sort of taking precedence over him. So, and that's Cliff Miles. We're hoping Cliff Miles is feeling well enough. I know he was having some health issues that maybe he could write a follow-up to his paper. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with my paper is I'm trying to kind of follow up on his. That's why I say the science is being done. The science was done by him, and I'm trying to continue that science that he and Galecki and Kordakoff and all of those folks got involved with. So what are we looking at right now? Let's just zoom in. Whoa, that wasn't what I wanted to do. I just wanted to zoom in on some of these dark spots here. So these dark spots are a good chance where we will find tridactyl forms. And maybe we have one right here. What do you think? I do like to do this live because I think it would be really fun that if some really cool discovery comes about, that we're here together when it happens. So I'm zeroing in on this guy here. Could be just a bone. Of course, the best way that you do, that's what's fun about this, is that when people say, oh, I don't see it, or what is that? We can change the angle. This is 3D. We can move around, or not necessarily 3D, actually. It's layers, so it kind of gives an impression of 3D as you're moving through or moving away. It kind of builds upon the dimensions. So is that one right there? Maybe. Also, what is it? There's just a serpentine form here. Are these heads or bones, right? They look, I think those are bones because they're all similar. Yeah. All right, let's keep looking. So we are in Louisa and we are down. Of course, you would definitely expect to find larval forms near the egg here from past eggs. I was reading that a parallel amphibian, the larva could live within the mother for as long as a year. So you would have quite the development in there, wouldn't you? Let's go a little smaller so everybody can see. I just think I'm having still a little bit of trouble with getting all that I can see and that you can see. So I guess we'll have to make it smaller. All right, as far up as I go, going back in. All these little gray shadowed forms could very well be fleshy masses. And of course, the other thing we're going to do is we're going to look at these things. Oh, like that there. That could be possibly a large head. Wow. So I do believe that they do try to get into like the marrow-rich areas of the bone. Maybe that's why their bones are hollow. Nothing too spectacular yet, right? But again, I think we should do this every week. The other thing you should do every week is go into the Alien Projects site, and maybe I'll do that before we go. So I'm suggesting these little black spots might be the beginning of eggs. I guess they should be more reflective, maybe, huh? But you can see there is reflections in there. So those could be eggs within these sort of follicular cells. So these sort of, each one is sort of acting kind of like an ovary, I suppose. Wow. Let's go up to the head. What do you think? Okay, so we're nearing that integration of that gonoduct, I should say. So it's a suggested sexual organ that's connecting the head to the eggs in the cloaca. And we're moving in. And we're trying to see what we can see here. So you see these dark masses down at the bottom here. This very well could be larva. The other thing I wanted to look at, I understand these gentlemen, and I'd like to find the video where they speak about, specifically, they suggest that the nutrition is liquid and it's coming from near the recess for the fang. Wow, what is that? Look at that little reflection on there. So what I notice is that even on the smaller ones, that the parietal pineal gland is reflective because it's calcium rich. So, I mean, this could very well be that. Look how bright that is. And you know what? There's a dark eye there. And there appears to be, if you look here, a serpentine tail. Can we get anything else out of this? Yeah, you see how it's hard to just like, I want to get something out of that, right? I want to get a more clear image. Believe me, I want that Patterson video of a larva in just full form. So the back of the skull seems also to, maybe because it is pneumatic. It is pneumatic. It allows space for these beings, these creatures, to climb into and make themselves at home. So what do we have here? Wow, what is going on up there, right? Okay. Also, you know what I'm also seeing, I realized, and this is something good to share. I believe since they're fused clavicle, is that what we're calling it? I don't know. I think some terms might just be easier. Why can't we just call it a furcula? Just one Latin word that means, right? So I think they're furcula, they're clavicle. See, now I don't even know what to call the damn thing. The fused clavicle, because it's so pronounced and it sticks out, I think that catches a lot of reflection, and maybe that's what we're seeing here. But there's some sort of being, and it does almost look like I do catch this interesting thing. Do you remember the scan we just saw? We just saw a scan of a front limb first amphibian, and I swear in these images you can what happened? My God. I don't know, I'm a little verklempt today. You can see, I don't even remember now. See, I got screwed up. As soon as any technical difficulty hit me. Now, this could just be brain matter. I feel like I'm having like a little bit of trouble with the maneuvering of the images. Wow, what is going on in there, huh? And again, I think the goal is, if we look at this, or you look at this every so often, we may come up with some different imagery. See those reflective points there? Look at that. How interesting. You guys are like, what am I looking at? And again, these could be getting pretty big if they could stay in there for 12 months. Can you imagine just the predation? Oh, I know what I was going to say. Some of these scans, I feel like you might even actually be able to see the fang. As faint as it is, that's what we could be looking at here. I know, it's so blurry. Oh, I know the other thing that we wanted to talk about that happened this week was there was a gentleman, I think his name is, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike Batista, is that it? He was on Ross Coulthart, and he can summon entities, and that he gets footage of these entities. They're like lit up and whatnot. And they posted the images of them, which they're very blocky, very like kind of 8-bit. And I don't mean to dismiss his account or even his images, to be honest. I just find it it's odd that someone like Colhart will focus his attention on these stories that they rely on you believing the narrator. I don't really expect you to believe me. I'm trying to show you guys things. And if you do believe me, I have a feeling that your life will be more enriched, because this stuff takes you down a rabbit hole. You start to realize that our cultural heritage may very well be tied together to these beings. Let's take a look at the front end. And again, these pneumatic areas here. God, I wonder if they get to if the larvae get to the pineal gland, if they eat those too. And if it's any good. Right. Here's Jared. I know. Why don't they go at the real evidence? It's just, and that's why I'm hoping, I'm hoping things like the third eye and larval forms will bring people's attention to it. But I think it's the opposite. They're just like, who's this nutter? So we're looking into what I call the kappa region, where the parietal eye and pineal gland are, and you can see the parietal foramen that separates them. Jared, I'm sending you a new head, aren't I? Just say it. You can give the other one to somebody you don't like. Ooh, I've seen this image before, and I've wondered, did we capture something here, or is it just the regular morphology of the creatures? Because this, if you notice some of the larval heads, they're almost like triangular shape. So can I just draw on this, I wonder? Right? Is there like, yeah, there's like a freehand. So this very well could be a larval head right here. And one of the eyes here. Wow. All right. How's everybody doing? We're going to do our Tridactyl skull giveaway today. I have had many winners recently, so we're going to do that shortly. I do want to at least look into Victoria at least once. I feel like that's the plan right now, is to keep going into these, at least these scans I have, until I get some other ones. Do we have an idea of how long a tridactyl being's lifespan was? No. I suppose we're going to have to measure something that's in complex DNA, which is the telomeres, I believe, are what they're called. Not my forte. And if they can find those and study that, they'll be able to get an idea. But these bodies, in my opinion, have been appearing up in the archaeological record for some time. Like Victoria, for example. Victoria, I believe, is in ancient Chinese script that depicts seated beings in the same position, some of them missing their head. So to me, it seems quite obvious. Where was the good scans of old Vic? Old Vic. Yeah, I don't know if those are going to be the best scans, though. I can't remember if they've labeled her under bone. Some of them they labeled as bone, and some are neck, because that's how big they are, about the size of a neck. Oh, here we go. We're getting closer. Yeah, I had this all lined up for us, and then disaster struck, because if you have your DICOMs open and you try to put another file in there. Ooh, what's that? Get a little excited at times. All right, we're looking for Victoria. Why? Because we want her seated. Here she is. And we're just looking for more forms. Let's show some more comments from our viewers. I've personally gone out with Jordan Josek, who's able to summon the orbs forest. They appear to be constructed of plasma. Okay. They're known to science as ball lightning. And thanks for your response. We appreciate the content. Yeah, so, I mean, imagine if these things had the lives of a tortoise. Like, imagine you and I. Imagine if you could live 900 years. What could you accomplish? Well, first of that, 300 years of that you would spend working, right? The other 300 you would spend sleeping. But imagine what we could get done. So do they have a lifespan like that? And are these long lineages of kings that are in the historic record of thousands of years, are they really just documenting a parthenogenesis and self-replication? You know, I believe these things are the answer to all our cosmological questions, and our cosmology is rooted, I suggest, in biology. Is this like an awful image that I picked? There we go. Okay. So yeah, the dark gray masses are usually a good start if you want to look for something. Okay. Again, we might have some serpentine form. We might have some sort of tridactyl head. Now, this is a side view. So you'll be able to see the Castralia, which he's not calling them Castralia. I mean, what else are they? That's what Cliff Miles called them. He's not technically a doctor. Look down here, this honeycomb of material where these larvae could turn this area, I believe, into some sort of like a coral reef of living spaces, where they go into the marrow and they help themselves to various things of eating the host, which in itself is kind of horrifying. And if we consider the fangs are blood draining, possibly, that's if they're eating that liquid diet. I mean, I don't know about you. As soon as someone told me, oh, you know what I realized? I'm not even showing you guys anything. Well, I could tell. We're not paying attention, are we? That's okay. Let's look at Miss Victoria some more. And I'm just going to go full screen on this for a bit. All right. So as I was saying, there is a dark gray mass here. So these masses of flesh could very well be tridactyl larvae feeding. Hey, if you guys feel like I haven't shown you a good larva yet, let me know. Or if you think I've done a pretty good job demonstrating, and you know, there's different scans. If I've done a pretty good job of demonstrating that these things have life in them. I've even considered too that this gonoduct, no, I keep saying the other way. This gonoduct, perhaps this is the inspiration for the totem pole. But that brings up the question, as some people have asked me before, well, hold on, Ed, how could the pig dragons, for example, how could the pig dragons and the Magatama, how could these represent larval beings if they're so small and within the body? Yeah, how? It suggests to me that the ancients, maybe our hybrid intermediaries, were quite well aware of this. So where are the bodies? Where are the larvae assumed to exit? So they do have a cloaca. So I would expect that for them to go into the cloaca. But they're clearly ovoviviparous like a typical amphibian. So that means things like gastrobrooding or even mouth brooding, where they're cared for and travel within the mouth, are very possible things. So best case scenario, perhaps these things are born within and work their way out through the stomach. Or keep in mind too, the eggs are on the outside of this duct. So do they climb back into the duct and attempt to go out the cloaca? Does this all work better in water? You know, ultimately, is this some sort of hybrid issue, a sort of issue that's happening? I suggest that the reason Artemis has so many operations I said this from the very beginning, was to remove these larval forms. So is there a hybrid issue going on? Is there this confusion within the body of womb and ovoviviparity in competition, perhaps? So ideally, they come out the mouth, and we've seen that in cultural depictions. That was one of the reasons why I knew there was going to be larvae in the skull, because in the archaeological record, time after time, there's life from the mouth. A good one you might want to look into is the water jaguars of Mesoamerica. They appear to be spitting out in threes, I think, too, eggs or larval Magatama paisley forms. So it says, sure looks experimental. Someone playing with DNA. Well, clearly there has to be some funny business intervention going on, because how else would you have clear human or primate DNA with an invertebrate styled reproduction system? So thank you for sharing that, Daniel. Yeah, so Daniel suggests, and I do seriously appreciate this feedback. And that's why even on the YouTube videos, I do address some of the negative comments. Like someone said, he didn't answer the question. So I went back in. I'm like, did I answer the question? And I did it. So I try to answer the question in the video. So, yeah, so thank you for that. I do like to update and morph myself. I am not a monolith stuck in one mode here. So yeah, so more angles of the eggs with the larva, which of course, that's how I was able to search for them in the bodies in the skull, right? Because I saw them in the eggs first. Good place to look for them here. Let's got another comment here. Pig dragons catch alive is quite strong to me. I haven't seen any other real explanation for the pig dragon form. Do you know of any other current hypotheses? The current hypothesis, I don't know if there's anything current, but you know, the typical hypotheses from academia are so different. I mean, I'm just thinking of some of the explanations people come up with. It's real hard for me now because I now listen to people's explanations of artifacts in a different light. And it makes you realize, oh, everybody's been speculating, right? Everyone's been speculating. The G symbol. Let's look at the Z symbol. So I, of course, have my theotherianthropic grapheme theory, which is to say that I believe that our symbolic language, everything from hearts to ionic columns to fluors to paisleys to our alphabet even, are inspired by these beings. Now, it sounds outrageous. Oh, I know. But let's look up the G character real quick. And I'm just going to... this is one version. You know, the Chinese language, the written language it's vast in time and scale and stylistically. So here's one. So, am I sharing it? Can you see? Yes, that is us, right? So this is an example of someone suggesting that, well, since this is the symbol for the child, therefore, this is a child swathed in baby clothes, you know? Oops. Well, anyway, we don't have to keep sharing the child. So, or are we? We are sharing the child. Good. So the child, I suggest, was a clue that these were front limb first beings. Why? Because other letters seem to imply animals, serpentine forms, and I feel like the ancients were really focused on this child. And sometimes it is shown very serpentine. And depending on the artistic representation. And then there's even these, look at this guy here. I hardly ever show this letter. Okay. This is, I don't want to put it there. Hold on one sec, guys. We're going to do this, the giveaway in a second. Let's wrap this up. Again, thank you for any sort of input on what's working and what's not. Sometimes I just do my own thing, but it's good to be able to good to be able to focus like I'm not doing now. All right, so here, this one's called Kia. This is not a child. This is an alphabet, though, part of one of the Sanskrit languages. And not only do I suggest that this shows a serpentine form, but I suggest it shows even a reminiscent tridactyl head, obviously iconic. And this is just one. You know, some people are going to look at this and they're going to say, well, that doesn't prove anything. It's just one thing. But it's letters. The child symbol is near universal. I see it in the American West. I see it in Semitic language. So just a good example of how I think academia, going way back, because the Chinese letters have been speculated upon for thousands of years. So are we doing that much different? Well, we're doing it differently is because we have the research of the bodies. All right, good time to do a Tridactyl skull giveaway. So I'm going to go to my cheat sheet of numbers here. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. I think I'm doing, what is it, the 18? It's what, I'm an 80s kid, huh? You can tell. I'm a Gen X 80s kid. Okay, so those are the numbers. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull up our Roll20. I don't know if any of you guys play D&D out there. Actually, you can play any sort of role-playing game on Roll20. And probably card games, too, I think you can do. But definitely been fun, especially since COVID, to play our D&D games on Roll20. But I can see I'm a little slow again on that too. Sorry, I'm probably the most clunkiest pod guy out there, but I try to show you guys things cool live, so that's part of that's my excuse. Okay, so who do we have in the room tonight? Now we got Jared. We should just have Jared roll again just for fun. People are like, that's not fair. Okay, so we had some nice conversation just now from some of you. So maybe Daniel would like to choose a number on here. Let's see, Canadians for Disclosure. If you'd like to choose a number. Who else? It'll make me feel better if Jared wins again. So yeah, I don't think, Daniel, I don't think you have a number on here. And I don't think Canadians for Disclosure does either. If either of you'd like to choose one of these open numbers, there's not a lot. Looks like we got 18, 49, 92, 93, 94. So yeah, if you're watching, it's actually 1 to 100. I'm not showing the list. Let me show you the list. I had a little trouble sharing stuff today. Again, I have good weeks and bad weeks. This one's kind of medium week because I feel a little bit like, am I doing this right? Here you go, Daniel. Yeah, 1 to 100. 92, 93, 47, 49. So let's see, 13 or 9. 13 is taken. 9 is taken. Carl appreciates me doing it live. Thanks, Carl. I like to have fun. You know, again, when I worked at the museum running the education department, you could have called it the entertainment department because what we're doing there was keeping kids entertained and while teaching them. So Daniel, you got to pick another number. How about you, Carl? You're welcome to join in. Carl, I don't think you have any numbers on here. If you want to pick a number. 66. Oh, the 66. Okay. Kill all the Tridactyls. No, don't do that. Don't do that. All right. Daniel's got number 66. Let's Get a couple more guys out there. What else can we talk about while we wait for Carl to pick a number and for Canadians for disclosure to pick a number? And as a reminder to everybody, I'll just show you this. Get me in here. Also, too, what can I say? It's a good day. I'm having a good time. I'm glad that video is out because there's a lot of people on there. It's very fun. And so, yeah, let's see here. So you'll be receiving one of the heads, not the mount. The mount's actually kind of cheap. It's that my buddy just made it. He has access to a shop. So he just made a little wooden little guy there for me. Okay, Carl's going for 89. Oh, Carl, you are on here. You already have 89. Do you want 90 or 80? That's wild. How do you like that? You're already on there, buddy. Pick another number. Play a little music. Welcome to, if you don't know what the heck you're watching here, this is at Tridactyls, Constant Companion Theory. I am a former archaeologist and former paleotech, which means I got to work with dinosaur bones. And Carl needs another number still. I have gone on digs. I've chosen sites. I've pulled artifacts. This is the Rizzle Dizzle, my friends. Trying to be, the other thing, believe it or not, what I'm trying to do, by trying to make this fun, I just want people to know this is a real thing. This is happening. It's almost like people are already missing. Well, you get another choice, Carl. That's what I'm saying. You get a second number. So would you like another? Oh, so would you like 90 or 87 to accompany your 89 on this journey? Canadians for disclosure, you guys not out there anymore? All right, well, you miss out. I'm still away for Carl. I'm not giving up till Carl picks another number. That's my goal here. By the way, guys, I am 3 months away from shaving. I hope I don't lose too much credibility. I may have to do my first few shows without the camera on, because this is my Santa Claus beard. So, yes, if you're wondering why I look like Santa Claus, it's because, yes, I will be playing Santa Claus. Yeah, you get to pick a new number each week. Until we're done. $90. Okay, we're rolling then, Carl. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Putting the screen up so everybody can see the dice. Dun, dun. Yeah, that's my goal, guys, is to try to make it fun and to make it real. This is not a game. Again, do I want credit for my finds? Hell yeah. What's wrong with that? Do I expect to get rich out of this? No. I've never expected to get rich out of anything I've ever done, and I've never gotten rich out of anything I've ever done. So I don't expect to from this either, so that's not my graph. Here we go. D100 coming in hot. Woo, woo, 67. Now, if that number's already been called, we will roll again. 67 was not called. That is an XXX. There is no winner this week. Ah, damn. That's good. Gives me a break on. I still have to make like 2 more of these heads, right? So there's that. So, wow. I think that wasn't a bad show. Got some blurry larvae. Nothing too exciting. We're going to go back to the eggs, I think. That's a good call. We're going to make sure we focus on what's in the eggs. And let's just keep banging out bodies and eggs. In fact, Victoria might have an egg that's not coming up on the scan. So that could be something fun we could play with also. What else am I going to be getting into this week? I'm going to be looking into definitely more of the Chinese mythos. I believe there's some definite clues there. We're going to be following the Naga morpheme. That's that sound that I believe in the human language is actually referring to these beings way back. All right, guys, live long and prosper. See you online. Be sure to share the videos out there. Get the word out there. That's the ultimate goal, is to let people know these are real, because there's kind of there's a counter propaganda campaign out there. And I don't know if it's an agenda, but it's weird when you show people science and they're still like fake. But that's the world we live in. So again, live long and prosper. See you next week. Thanks for watching.